It's been a while, but hello, Demolition God 64 here, and welcome to my second episode of Bad Smash Characters. In this series, I'll be taking a look at all the Smash games and analyzing characters that struggle to do well in the competitive scene. Today, I'll be taking a look at Sm4sh King Dedede. Without further ado, let's take a look at Sm4sh's metagame and Dedede's moveset to see why, well, sucks. In the fourth and most recent Sm4sh tier list, he is ranked 51st out of 54 characters, making him the fourth worst character in the game, excluding Mies. This is a big drop off from Brawl, where he was ranked 12th out of 38 characters. What exactly caused King Dedede to drop off so hard? Well, Brawl Dedede was unorthodox in that he was a big-bodied heavyweight character that was actually good. Unlike other heavyweights, Dedede fit right at home with Brawl's heavily neutral-based defensive gameplay. Dedede wasn't great at approaching due to a slow run speed and even slower air speed, but he could sit back and keep opponents out using his long-range attacks such as back air, forward air, down tilt, forward tilt, and grab. We get there when we get there. The key move to Dedede's defense, however, was his side B, Waddle Dee toss, a move where Dedede will randomly throw one of his 3 minions in the direction he is facing, all of which affect the opponent differently. Waddle Dee is the most common projectile, and when it hits an opponent, it dishes out a meager 5% damage and little knockback, which doesn't seem great for a projectile of its speed. But it can't be reflected back at Dedede, and it will walk on the stage for a while, absorbing attacks and projectiles while occasionally attacking themselves. This absorbing property extends to while being thrown, which can shield Dedede from projectiles. The other 2 minions don't come out nearly as often, but they also have their usage. Waddle Doo can potentially lock the opponents to a kill confirm, and the Gordo will outright kill them. Waddle Dee was overall a versatile projectile that helped Dedede fight against campers and aided his defensive game. If the opponent managed to wade through all your bullshit, fret not, for despite being easier to combo than other Brawl characters, Dedede had amazing survivability. His stun canceling was huge for Dedede, as being the 4th heaviest character, a fast faller, and having a better than average recovery with multiple jumps meant Dedede had the best survivability in the entire game, with players often nearing 200%. But Brawl Dedede is most remembered and feared for his monsterish punish game, specifically his nasty down throw chain grab. Due to the throw's set knockback and low end lag, Dedede could re-grab the opponent via dash grab. Dedede could do this for most characters, some of which he could chain grab infinitely without having to move, pretty much invalidating the matchup. For other characters, Dedede would simply chain grab them across the stage, racking up damage and putting the opponent in an edge guarding situation, which Dedede was good at since he had multiple jumps and could wall of pain mini characters using back air and forward air. To put the icing on the cake, Dedede has the longest non-tether grab in the game, meaning it wasn't hard for him to get the grab. Due to this chain grab, Dedede served to be a wall of sorts in the character's viability, as many mid and low tier characters lost against him hard. This combined with his ease of use meant he was a popular character that was held in high regard during the early Brawl metagame, being ranked 3rd on the first tier list. As people began to learn more about the game, Dedede's weaknesses would become more exploitable, and characters he did well against such as Snake, Donkey Kong, and Rob would fall off the tier list, while characters he struggled against such as Ice Climbers and Olimar would rise. This resulted in Dedede falling off the tier list and being considered an unviable main. However, he was a popular pocket character. Overall, Brawl Dedede was a good character that had amazing survivability, good edge guarding, good recovery, some good moves, and most importantly, one of the best chain grabs in the game. How does Sm4sh Dedede hold up in comparison? While Dedede does enjoy some of the changes in Sm4sh's mechanics, such as Rage, the changes arguably do more harm than good. Hit stun canceling being severely weakened meant that Dedede's survivability is worse despite weighing more in this game, and he now becomes way more susceptible to combos, while not gaining too many of his own. By far the worst change he would suffer from, however, is the removal in chain grabbing. This tool being gone meant that Dedede could not rack up damage like he used to, despite Sm4sh being more combo friendly. This also removes his most oppressive tool and the reason why some characters did so badly against him to begin with. His new down throw can start small combos, but they're not as effective as the good old chain grab, and Dedede's reduced grab range means getting the grab is now more difficult. Speaking of new moves, Dedede got quite a few coming into Sm4sh, more so than most other characters. Aside from down throw, move changes include down tilt, forward air, back air, down air, and side special. Starting with down tilt, it keeps the quick startup in good range from Brawl. It also has the unique property of moving Dedede forward, making the move function like a dash attack. The move has less kill power, a shorter duration, and more end lag. Ultimately, I think this down tilt is a bit worse than the one from Brawl, but it's still a good move. Next up on the chopping block is forward air. The move has faster startup and has more range. However, it can no longer auto-cancel on short hop, and its power has been weakened to the point where the move can no longer reliably kill and is unsafe on hit at low percentages. Still a good wall of pain though. Next is down air. Due to its decent startup and long-lasting multi-hits, this move was Dedede's answer to prevent juggling, and it could create pressure as well. Sm4sh's dare is a big fat meaty spike, and it's definitely got power. There's only one itty-bitty problem. The move takes so long to come out that by the time it does, I'm gonna be in a fucking retirement home ranting about this game. Oh, and it has a noticeably weaker sour spot that only does 8%, so have fun hitting the sour spot for this 22 frame move.
Yeah, that's one fine looking
Back air.
Why doesn't mine look like that?
Back air in Brawl, aside from down throw, was Dedede's best move. It came out at frame 6, the move lingers for 19 frames, it has good range, it can combo, it auto cancels on short hop, you could do 2 back airs in a short hop, it kills, and due to multiple jumps, Dedede can use this move in Wall of Pain edge guards. Back air basically did whatever you wanted at any time. You really cannot ask for much more in the move. Sm4sh's back air is a big dumb kill move hard to land. It's a good kill move if you land it, and the hammer disjoint does mean that you can pretty reliably space this move, but man, the versatility that old back air had is just gone. The final move that was changed was side B. Now called Gordo Throw, Dedede will consistently summon the Gordo rather than 1 of 3 minions. These Gordos are able to hop on the ground multiple times before disappearing, rather than just once. And you'll be able to change the trajectory of Gordos, which is useful for mix-ups and trapping. They also have a 50% chance of sticking to a wall or surface, giving the Gordo further edgeguard potential. That all sounds great, and it is. I'd say this is one of Dedede's better moves and is one Dedede players would often use. Its biggest strength lies in being able to trap the opponents into edgeguarding scenarios and kill confirms, as well as serving as a potential combo starter at low percentages. However, there are 2 things that heavily hold this move back from being as good as it could be. 1. These Gordos deal much less damage and knockback compared to the ones in Brawl, to the point where they cannot kill until very high percentages. And 2, and this is by far the move's biggest issue, the Gordos are able to be reflected back at Dedede by any move that does 2%. So like any move in the game, aside from maybe some rapid jabs. While it's otherwise a good or at least decent move, that 2% reflect rule really hurts this move and the character as a whole. Gordo Toss becomes a significantly more risky move to use and one that Dedede can't really use to camp, or to prevent his opponents from camping themselves. Like some other heavyweight characters, Dedede has an awful time against campers due to his bad mobility, frame data, and a projectile that constantly gets projected back at him. Even lower tiered zoners like Robin and Bowser Jr. spank this character because of this. But wait! Dedede is a super heavyweight, so that should mean that at the very least that he has fantastic KO power, right?
No.
His kill power is actually quite underwhelming for someone of his caliber. Compared to Brawl, many of Dedede's reliable finishers are either harder to land, or had their KO potential nerfed. He also has a decent amount of moves that just struggle to kill in general. At least he gets to utilize Rage since his survivability is really good, but it's only useful if the opponent is at a high percentage and he doesn't have the shenanigans with Rage that some other characters have. Overall, Dedede's new moves come with more nerfs than buffs, resulting in a moveset that's pretty underwhelming. Even the best moves in Dedede's kit, while pretty good, aren't fantastic. He doesn't really have that move. It moves so good that high and top tier characters would kill to have it, like with Ganon's up air or Falco's back air. Dedede is held back not by only his mobility, but also by his moveset. Let's quickly recap his problems. He is slow, laggy, vulnerable to camping, has a mediocre combo game, and kill power that leaves a lot to be desired for a slow, big-bodied heavyweight character. All major problems that stuck with him throughout the entire lifespan of this game. You may be wondering at this point, well, Sm4sh had patches, so did they change Dedede for the better at any point in the game? Well, yes, they did change him. For the worse. What has to be one of the most baffling design decisions for Sm4sh was that they nerfed Dedede in two separate updates, 1.0.4 and 1.1.5. 1.1.5 is particularly interesting because they made only one chain. Remember when I stated Brawl Dedede had the worst airspeed in the game? Well, this is also the case for Sm4sh, as his airspeed had remained unchanged. But in 1.1.5, they nerfed his airspeed, which was already the lowest in the game. Why? And this was the same patch that introduced Bayonetta, so like, huh?
What the fuck were they thinking?
Speaking of, not only did Dedede had to contend with being nerfed, but he now had to contend with many of the characters getting better, and he had to compete with these two fuckers. So, despite benefiting from Sm4sh's shield patch, he actually got worse as the game went on. As a result, the vast majority of the player base considered King Dedede to be a bottom tier character. However, opinions on the character seemed to get just a bit more positive in the last year of the game's lifespan, as a Dedede main from Japan named Zaki would get pretty good results with the character. However, even that wasn't enough to dissuade people from the fact that Dedede was a shell of his former self, and was a bad character. Thankfully, the devs kinda learned their lesson for Ultimate, as despite him being bottom 3, he would be buffed by a decent margin, and he does generally fare better in that game. Anyways, that concludes this episode of Bad Smash Characters. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and comment below your thoughts, as well as what characters you'd like to see me tackle in the future. Anyways, Demolition God 64 out.